In China right now, young workers with full-time jobs are renting half a bed. The other half goes to a stranger. Not couples. Not friends. Strangers found online, splitting a mattress to survive the cities they moved to for work. Against China's 260 million renters, this is still niche. But it is spreading, and it is being arranged in the open. Search bed sharing on Xiaohongshu and you get more than 37,000 posts. People arranging it, not just discussing it. In June, a hashtag translating to sharing a bed is a hardship beyond my comprehension pulled 40 million views on Weibo, and related video drew nearly 40 million on Douyin, because a generation recognized its own bedroom, and none of this is new. The South China Morning Post was reporting bed shares years ago, back when the practice still read as a curiosity. What changed this summer is that it stopped reading as one. And here's the first hint that this isn't just a rent story. Many of these workers could afford a room alone. They're choosing half a bed anyway, because the money they're protecting isn't rent money. It's survival money. In Wuhan, a 25-year-old sales agent named Winnie Zeng, she spoke to Reuters this summer, earns about 4,000 yuan a month. That's a little under $600. Her solution to the mass of her city was to invite a stranger, another young woman, to share not her flat, not her room, a bed. The arrangement saves her 450 yuan a month. $66. For that, she gave up the last private space a person has. But listen to how she explains it, because this is the whole video in one sentence. If you have no money, your ability to withstand risks is extremely weak the moment you stop working. She is not saving for a handbag. The bed share means she keeps about 3/4 of her income. And that buffer is the only thing standing between her and a bad month. So here's the question this video answers. How did the world's biggest builder of apartments produce a generation that has to split a mattress to feel safe? Winnie is one bed in a national arithmetic. This year, record 12.7 million graduates entered China's job market, 4% more than last year, an extra 480,000 people standing in the same queue. And here's the strange part: youth unemployment. But the official measure that leaves students out has been falling. 14.9% in June, a 12-month low, down 3 months in a row. It peaked at 21.3% in 2023, embarrassing enough that the government stopped publishing the number for 6 months and brought it back under a new method that excludes students. So the two figures aren't the same measurement. But take the improvement at face value, because it makes this harder to explain, not easier. The jobs number is getting better, and the beds are still being divided. Employers know the queue outside is long. Graduates report offers of 2,800, 3,000 yuan a month. And the bottom rungs are thinning as the cohort arrives. Employers are folding junior work into automation and AI tooling, which removes precisely the tasks a first-year graduate used to be hired for. The queue is getting longer at the same moment the front of it gets narrower. Here's the only contrast you need to remember. A one-bedroom flat in central Beijing rents for 8,000 to 10,000 yuan a month, roughly 3 times a typical graduate offer. Not a stretch. Not a squeeze. Mathematically impossible. Winnie put the same arithmetic in one sentence. Starting salaries are quite low. The cost of living is quite high. You just have to make a bit of a compromise. Compromise is doing an enormous amount of work in that sentence. In Beijing, Reuters found Wang, who lost his job in December when his civil engineering firm collapsed, now advertising for a stranger to split 1,750 yuan while he job hunts. And in the same reporting, Morgan Pan, 39 years old. His AI startup went bankrupt. He earns less than half what he used to. He shares a bedroom to hold rent and utilities near 1,200 yuan. He isn't a graduate. He isn't young. Whatever this is, it isn't a life stage. The bed share isn't a lifestyle. It's what the spreadsheet leaves. Because Here's the contradiction that makes this a by design story. China does not have a housing shortage. China has more empty homes than any country on earth, the most careful estimate we have. An academic survey across 363 counties puts the vacancy rate near 22%, more than 50 million empty units. Goldman Sachs puts urban vacancy around 20%. A former deputy head of the National Statistics Bureau said it plainest. The wildest claims might be a bit much, but 1.4 billion people probably can't fill them. You've seen the Go City videos. Both things are true at once, a country drowning in surplus homes and a generation splitting mattresses. How? Because the homes and the jobs are in different places. The surplus stands in cities built on the assumption that growth would arrive. The paychecks are in the 5 or 6 metros where it actually did. A free apartment in a city with no job is worth less to Winnie than half a bed in Wuhan. You can't commute from a ghost city to a sales floor. Housing isn't one national market. It's a map of mismatches, and the tape line down her mattress is where the mismatch lands. Now run the players. The landlord. In job-rich cities, demand is bottomless at the low end, so the rational move is to subdivide. Flat into rooms, rooms into beds. Every partition raises the yield per square meter. The employer. Facing a record 12.7 million new graduates, the rational move is to offer 2,800 and let the queue decide. The government. Officially, it wants young people spending. Consumption is the whole macro plan. But a generation that watched firms collapse and jobs vanish responds rationally by saving, which is exactly what Winnie's bed share is. Forced saving disguised as housing. Mingwei Liu, who directs the Center for Global Work and Employment at Rutgers, told Reuters what that costs if the mindset spreads. Weaker household spending, weaker property demand, fewer marriages. Read that middle one again, next to 50 million empty homes. Her parents' spare room in a smaller town is the fallback. Almost half of Chinese graduates already lean on their parents to get by, but taking it means surrendering the only cities where careers exist. And Winnie herself. Privacy is the one asset she owns that the market will still buy. So she sells it. Every player is making their best available move. The half bed is the equilibrium. China's government has an answer, and it's not nothing. Subsidized rental housing. 8.7 million affordable rental units targeted across the last 5-year plan. Small, cheap, state-backed, and deliberately open with no household registration test. The strongest case for it, it targets exactly Winnie's demographic, and at scale it's the only lever that can undercut the partition landlords. And housing isn't the only lever being pulled. For 2026, authorities signal plans to use growth in AI and emerging sectors to add 12 million urban jobs, with large-scale training and internship programs attached. Judge the state on both answers, not one of them. The strongest criticism is where they're being built. Peer-reviewed work on China's public rental towers finds them concentrated on urban peripheries where job access is lowest, while surveys of Beijing's lower-income renters put proximity to work and transport at the very top of what they need. The build rate is falling too. 2.65 million units started in 2022, 2.13 million in 2023, and none of it touches the deeper machine. Wages set by an endless graduate queue and a safety net thin enough that a mattress buffer feels necessary. If supporters are right, the bed shares fade as units come online. If critics are right, the state is building dormitories for a generation whose real problem is that work stopped paying for adulthood. Watch which one the hashtags say. So, go back to Winnie's room and look at the tape line differently now. At the start of this video, it looked like poverty. It isn't quite. 4,000 yuan a month is a real job. The line down her mattress isn't the absence of money. It's the presence of fear, drawn in tape. A private insurance policy against a labor market that can collapse a firm in December, and a safety net that won't catch her in January. She said two other things that don't fit the pity frame at all. It feels good to come home and know someone is waiting for you there, and flatter and harder than anything else in the reporting. When people say society has come to this, it's the absolute truth. Seoul shrank the room. Hong Kong shrank the flat. China has started shrinking the share. The fraction of a bed, of a wage, of an adulthood that one young worker gets to keep. The bed isn't the crisis. The bed is what the crisis looks like the moment it runs out of smaller rooms to sell. And the last thing that can be halved is already halved, and sleeping next to a stranger. Every episode of this channel keeps finding the same machine wearing a different country's clothes. Next, the emptiest offices in the world are standing in the most expensive cities in the world, and almost none of them are becoming homes. The reason fits on a spreadsheet. On screen now,